Thanks. Well, I'm gonna welcome everybody as soon as somebody will shut up and sit down.
Do we have an opening ceremony?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, okay, good.
As soon as somebody stops the sidebar. He can't hear me at all.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, down in front.
Tried to.
Down in front.
She's like all day they've been playing.
Need me over here?
I need you to
Oh,
sit
yeah, the whole
down.
thing just.
So,
Sit down just to start and stand up.
That's pretty nice.
I've never done this before, by the way.
So
So.
hit it twice.
Oh, there you go. What are robots?
Robots are cool!
That's awesome. Zombies must die.
Shoot them in the head! Seceden es bauen wie.
oh, I see.
Doing like we get busy.
Okay. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody here. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out. My name is James Stowe. I am an illustrator. I do a comic right now called Psychic Quest that you may or may not have heard of. It's very new. And I'm here to teach how to use Illustrator, the Adobe Illustrator, the program there, to create comics and to draw. So that's what we're going to be learning today. This is the first of the Cartoonist League of the Washingtonians lecture series. It's the first one I get to do it yet. So we're gonna. I've got a few lessons planned that I want to go through, but first I'm going to thank the Cartoonist League for letting me do this. That's awesome. Thank you guys. And I also want to thank Comic Book Inc. for hosting this and letting me sit here and do this as well.
Yay, Comic Book Inc.
Hopefully, I know the weather is nasty and there was an accident or something on I-5. It was trouble for me to get here, but hopefully
hailed.
there'll be some more people. So let's start. The first thing I'm going to teach you is how to draw on a computer, specifically with. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to get hot real fast. With Illustrator.
Ooh, Mr. Stowe!
No, all questions when I ask for them. What?
Can you please tell us what program we're going to be using tonight?
I did already, but okay, I'll do it again. This is Adobe Illustrator. Actually, this is CS5. You might be using an older version, but this is CS5. CS6 comes out in less than 30 days.
Lord.
Yes. Also, there's a subscription model, which I don't approve of at all. The iCloud, or the
A-Cloud.
no, it's the Adobe Cloud or the Suite Cloud or whatever it's called. But yeah. So, but this is CS5. So this is what I have. I got CS3, but I'm not going to open that. So we're going to start with the basics on how to draw in Illustrator. So there are 3 or 4 basic tools on how to draw in Illustrator. The first one we're going to play around with is the pen tool. I don't know if anybody can see that, but it looks like this. The icon looks like this. If I could make the icon bigger, I would. And basically there are...
Draw one.
There's the pen tool, and then tools you can use the pen tool. Pen tool, all the pen tool does is create objects. Now, Illustrator is a vector program, which means this object is just, according to the computer, 4 points. That's all the computer cares about, the fact that it is 4 points. There are no pixels or anything here. The computer just reads it as points. So for Illustrator, or for file size, it means that this file is incredibly small. Unlike a Photoshop file where it reads pixels and therefore that file is bigger. So for this, I've got an object. In this case, I've got a blob. And I can make the blob wider or smaller. One of the cool things about vector objects is that they scale without losing any resolution. You can make this as big or as small as you want because all Illustrator sees is the 3 or 4 points that make up the object. So, but you can't really draw with the pen tool. You can make like primitive objects. You can even write with it if you really, really want to. Now it's of. But that's pretty much all you can do. So then you move on to a slightly more complicated object, or a slightly more complicated tool, and that is the pencil tool, which, there you go, pencil tool. The pencil tool is just like the pen tool, except it's freehand. Woo! So you can create objects just by drawing. Now these objects are normally, when you draw something with the pencil tool, you just get, I don't know if you can even see it. Here, let me change the color of this layer from tan to black. That way you can see my guidelines a little better. Where is black? Black. So, there you can see that is just the points, these little guys right here, and the lines that connect the points. It's not filled in, it's not stroked. If I deselected it, you would not see it at all. There's no way to see it. However, if you pick, there's 2 palette options here on the toolbar. There's this, which is stroke color, and this, which is fill color. Since this is a solid object, I can either fill it or stroke it. Now, if I drew something but didn't connect it, I can't fill it. Well, I guess I can fill it. Weird. But, okay, screw that then. I don't use this tool very often, but I thought I would start with the basic tools. So, there you go. Those are now I don't recommend drawing with this thing either. Even though it's a pencil tool, I don't recommend drawing with it. I will use the pencil tool if I need to create a primitive background object, like, say, a cloud. Yay, I made a cloud. I don't have to draw the cloud. It says there, and then if I really want to be fancy, it's a gradiated cloud. So that's the pencil tool. Now we move on to the paintbrush, which if you're thinking, hey, I want to make art in Illustrator, let's use the tool that I should make art with, which is the paintbrush. And I thought that for a really long time, and I'm going to teach you why this is a horrible, horrible idea, but let's start with it right now. The paintbrush. The paintbrush, it even looks cool, like the icon's a cool little paintbrush, and it lets you paint. Now, this is straight up line. It has no variation, but you can go here and you can change, if you have one of these little guys, which is a pressure sensitive Wacom tablet, you can set it to pressure. Say we want 13 and the variation to be 12. It only goes to 12. Yes.
Can you show us where that...
Also, please stop interrupting. Go ahead.
Can you show us where that menu was hiding?
It is actually in, if you have your, what is this thing called? If you have your, I think it's called your workspace, or no, it's your control. If you ever get your control bar on up top, your control bar changes with the tools that you select. In this case, since I have the paintbrush on, it gives me paintbrush options up here in control. And in control, it'll tell you what brush you are using. You can also find it by turning on the brushes window. And it will give you all the brushes that you have options for. In this case, I'm using a straight 2-point oval that I've now converted into a 13-point pressure-sensitive oval. It's a lot more complicated than it needs to be. But it means I can do this. If I just make a very, very light pressure, it makes a very, very light line. If I push really hard, then it makes a bigger line. And because it's an oval, not a full round, when I move, the line changes. If I switch this to circle, that's the end of those strokes, then it's more circular. There's not that like calligraphy bevel. And that's just personal preference. Personally, I like to use the circle. I don't like having that bevel on it. The 2-point oval, I think, is default for the paintbrush, which shows you how much I use it. But what the paintbrush can do, all the paintbrush is a fancier version of the pencil. So it's just like the pencil, it's creating a line that you can fill. And now you have the same object you could have by using the pen tool or the pencil tool. They all work the same way. And they all are absolutely terrible to draw with. Because if you're drawing, let's say you're drawing a dude. I'm just going to draw a dude. So here's my dude. Now, you would think, oh, that's awesome. But none of these things are connected. They are several lines that don't connect to each other and therefore are kind of a pain in the butt to do anything with. Because if you like, oh, I want to take this guy over here, and now I've just taken a bit of his face. It doesn't create, it's not smart enough to know that it's supposed to all be together, and you want that all to be an object. It sees it instead, and I'll show you exactly what it sees it as. Because as you see it like this, Illustrator sees it like this. It sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And that's what it sees. But you don't want it to see that. What you want is these objects. Because if you put these objects together, in this case I'm forcing them together, now they are one object. And that's what you want. You want your lines to converge to create an object to make it easier to draw with. So, how do you do that? Well, you can't do it with any of the tools I just showed you. You can only do it with this tool right beneath the paintbrush tool that has the worst name of any tool ever made. It's called the blob brush. And it is the absolutely most useful tool you will ever use in Illustrator, and they named it something that would make you avoid it at all costs. So what is the blob brush? The blob brush, if you can see it, looks almost exactly like the paintbrush. The icon looks almost exactly the same. Look at that. You can change the brush the exact same way you can change the brush in the paintbrush. But it does something very distinctive that the paintbrush doesn't do, and that is it paints in, I want you to look at that real closely because I'm going to do something to show you. Paints in an object. It doesn't paint lines, it paints objects. And what this allows you to do is, here, let me turn the color back on because otherwise it won't behave properly. What it allows you to do is create a bigger and more complex object the more you draw on it. So now I'm going to draw that guy's face again. it's one, well, except for the eyeballs because they're not touching anything, but it's one object.
So it links everything together automatically?
It automatically does. And you can change those settings as well. If you don't want it to, you can make it not do that. You can change how sensitive the blob brush is to the objects around it. You can say, if I have an object selected, all I want you to do is attach yourself to that object and leave all the other objects alone. Or you can set it to just say, if I hit another object, I'm part of that object. And that's what it does. So here, you are doing something that Photoshop, which is probably the most well-known drawing program for this kind of stuff, you're doing something that Photoshop can't do. You're doing, let me get as close in as I possibly can. You're creating lines that you will never see jag on, ever. Because all the computer sees are points, little dots attached by lines. Now, remember when I was working with the paintbrush and I was drawing, whoa, that's way sensitive. So I forgot I made this a 13 point. So I gotta be real sensitive. Okay, so let's just fill that there. So I can connect all these. Right now, I can tell it by clicking, I'm gonna make sure this works, clicking this, I can tell it's all one thing now. It looks terrible, but I can say that it does that. But I can also make an object and I can fill it. I can technically fill this as well, although you'll only see the top of his head filled because that is. Now, I can't fill this because there is no this. The object itself is the line that I made. So, right away, you can see that there's a big problem with this blob brush. The fact that you can never color your work ever. Because there's no, unless you take your pencil tool and trace along the line. And then say, you know what, let's pick another color, the black, let's play green. And then boom. And that's the way to color it. And that's pretty much what you do in Photoshop. When you color something, you usually put your line work on one layer and then your color on another layer. And that's pretty much how you make illustrations in Photoshop. So you could do it that way, the exact same way in Illustrator, and you can even do it, let me see where this is. I'm just going to lock this. You can even do it with the blob brush itself, just like you would in Photoshop. All you're doing is coloring, just like you would in real life or in Photoshop. You're coloring your object.
Yeah.
And since it's a different color, it shouldn't affect the other object, because the blob brush only sees like. So, dink, now it's colored. And you can see that I've missed some, so I'll color in that, and I can't, it doesn't, why didn't it do that? It's because there's an object in between the blue and the blue I just put down. It's that black object. But if I did it this way, now they're touching and everything works good. So, I hope I didn't lose anybody there. I'm going pretty fast. But that is not a good way to color in Photoshop or in Illustrator. It's a great way to color in Photoshop because it's pretty much the only way, unless you get out the paint can. I'm not going to show you the good way. until lesson 3. We're still on lesson 1. So you're going to have to wait till lesson 3. So that way, hopefully, I'll get you to stay in your seat. What I am going to show you right now, I'm going to move on. That's all lesson 1 basics on how to draw in Illustrator. Yay, lesson 1. Anybody need to use the potty?
People have questions.
Oh, I'll take the questions now. Let's go with lesson 1. Is there any questions you guys have for what I've said already? Yes. You in the cool leopard fez hat that I don't know at all.
Not at all. With the blob brush, are there any other? You mentioned I think 3 ways that you can actually do intersections. So it's just running over something on the same.
Why don't
layer.
I? Here, let me open up the dialog.
Yeah, because then there was the color one that can separate.
So this is the blob brush tool option. You can always, in any tool, in any Adobe product, if you double click on it, it'll give you some options that you can play around with. In this case, it gives you the default brush that it'll always start with unless you tell it to do differently. And it will say keep selected, which means if you keep it selected, it'll automatically keep merging stuff. And then you can say you want to merge only with a selection. So, and I don't do that because I like everything merging together. But you can then merge only with selection. That will help you with the merging of the pieces together. If I selected merge only with selection, then if I drew this, unselected it, and then drew that, those are 2 separate pieces. They will not connect with each other. However, if I kept it selected and then drew that, now it's together. So, although I don't like doing that because I find that I mess myself up more often than not. Yes?
When I'm drawing with my blob brush, I'm trying to get a thin thing happening, and I keep getting a consistent line weight.
Did you... What's your brush?
Let's see.
Do you have your drivers installed for your Wacom tablet? It's a legitimate
computer
question.
turned on.
Sometimes if you don't have your drivers installed, it's not going to work. It's just going to be a fancy mouse at that point.
Okay, I do have my brush says it's got angle of 45. I'll switch that over to 15.
Is it fixed? All you care about is if it's fixed.
No, it says pressure, pressure, pressure.
Okay. Fix your angle and your roundness. There's no reason for that to be affected by your pressure. And then, what is the variation of your pressure?
Let's see.
If it's 0, that means it's not doing anything.
I got 9 points on it.
So is your diameter 9 points and your variation 9 points?
Hang on. Well, I'm moving my things over to my angle over to fix, my roundness over to fix because both of those were set on pressure.
Sure.
My roundness was at 90. Is at 92. I suppose that's okay.
I mean, that's just personal preference.
Okay. So my diameter is at 9 points and my at pressure with a variation of 9 points. So do I?
Okay, that should work.
Okay, let's try that.
If that doesn't work, I'm not walking over there. We can sidebar that, and then I'll see what's going on there. So I'm actually going to make at least one comic in front of you guys here tonight, but that's going to start with lesson 2. Does anybody else have any questions about lesson 1? Anybody?
Sorry. Sorry.
Did it work?
I'm still messed up here. I'm trying to find a blob tool. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Oh, grab the wrong tool. I'm getting a little bit of variation, but it's coming in really, really thick.
That's your hand. That's not the program. You need a lighter hand.
Oh, I see.
Yes, there you go.
Hang on.
I just want to look at the block.
Now there are, like I said, just because I said that the pen, pencil, and paintbrush aren't the best way to draw in Illustrator, it doesn't mean that I don't use them for specific things. Let me show you a page of Sidekick Quest that I recently finished. This is a page. This is the latest page of Sidekick Quest. Now, most of this stuff is all blob brush drawn. But some of it, like this object, this shadow, I made with a pen tool, because it's a lot easier to make that kind of thing with a pen tool. I just point, 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 done. And I got my shadow. So coloring, when I'm not showing you the technique, I'm not going to show you until lesson 3. Coloring's a lot easier sometimes with the pen tool. Like this, for example, this window back here is all pen tool. I didn't draw any of that. I just went ahead and made all that with the pen tool because they're kind of geometric shapes and it would be easy for me to do. Whereas, like all this stuff is all blob brush. And when I go ahead and make word balloons, I make word balloons with the pen tool as well. And then, oh, hey, that's something I should show you. Let's make, I've got to make a, let's go ahead and do this one. We're going to make a bot fans today. If people who don't know what bot fans is, that is my other webcomic that no one reads, which is basically me taking spam bot stuff that I get on my blog, and I get a ton of it. Just taking it verbatim, word for word, drawing a robot that said it, and that's it. That's the comic. It's not a smart comic, but I like doing it because it's fast. So I'm going to make maybe 1 or 2 of them tonight. But let's go ahead. We're going to make Laptop Repair Melbourne, which is an excellent name. And he has a middle name too, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and make the word balloon for Laptop Repair Melbourne. Now I could just as easily, there are shape tools as well in Illustrator that would allow me to make that beveled box a lot easier than I just did it, but what the heck, I like working in this. Now, so there's my basic, he's got a little jagged word balloon arrow, because he's a robot, so he's got a little jagged thing. So that's why that looks like that. But I don't want it to be blue, and I want it to be behind my words, and I want it to have a stroke. So it's now stroked, and I want the stroke to be bigger. So in my stroke window down here, I'm upping the stroke, but I want it to have a little bit of a variation. So I go down to uniform under profile, and I want it to be, let's say this. So that way it's a little heavier on this side, a little lighter on this side. I like to do that with, I don't know, that's just personal preference for me, but I like to do it. Now you can also, you can make it inside the object, outside the object. There's a lot of things, but you guys didn't come here to learn how to stroke stuff. That's right, I was waiting for that joke all night. So we started with Laptop Repair Melbourne. So let's start with, unless anyone has any more questions about the basics on the drawing tools in Illustrator, let's move on to lesson 2, which is how to import a drawing that you made in real life into Illustrator and work on it. It's not something that I do. I just draw. I like to draw on the computer. I hate scanning things. Scanning things sucks. But I know that I'm in the minority. People like to draw with pencils and pens, and I can't begrudge them for wanting to do that. So a lot of the things that I'm going to teach you, I would be remiss if I didn't add this, because a lot of people are going to want to know how to do this. And it's easy to do in Photoshop, which is why people use Photoshop instead of Illustrator, and I'm here to teach you to stop using Photoshop. It's an Illustrator world. Illustrate. You're not a Photoshopper. You're an illustrator. You like to illustrate. Don't shake your head. You like to illustrate. So, I'm going to make it easy for you to do that. So, I've already scanned in my drawing. See? Same guy. I scanned him in. I haven't monkeyed with it. It's a JPEG. It says JPEG. I haven't done anything to it. So, I'm going to select it. And when I select it with the primary arrow, the selection tool, it's going to give me this little option here called Live Trace. It's not in a lot of the older versions of Illustrator, and it is a clunky thing, but I'm going to show you how to make it slightly less clunky. So, what Live Trace does is it will take a picture or drawing or what have you, and it will create a vector for it. So let's do it and see what happens. It says tracing may proceed slowly because this is a very large image. Would I like to continue? I don't want to ever see that again. Yes. So now it's tracing it. It's looking at the object, tracing it. Now look what I got. I got this guy. I can't select him. He's a tracing. Now I can't get at him. It traced a picture and that's all I can do. So now I'm screwed. It doesn't work and my lesson is over. But that's not true. If that was true, then I would not be. Wait a minute, this is free. Lesson's over. You go to edit, and then there is object. You go to object, and in object there is your live trace options. So select the live tracing that you just did. Go to object. Tell the live trace to expand it, not release it, because releasing it is bad. Don't release things in Illustrator. You want to expand things. You want to expand their horizons, not release them into the wild. So we're going to expand this. Ooh. Can you guys see what just happened? Because it's awesome. Yes? Oh, okay. I'll show you. Oh God, you got to trace it again.
Your computer crashes.
So, let's release it. Released! Oh God, it's back into that JPEG again. Because you told it you didn't want it to be what it is. So, let's trace it again. That's what release means. Release means, oh, I screwed up. I don't like what I did. Let's redo that. Okay, now we have the tracing. We're going to expand the tracing. Beep. Now when I select it, I get mostly what I want. It's still kind of dirty, but overall, it is a vector object. Not as clean a vector object as I would have made if I just hand drew it, but it's a lot better than if I had worked on it in, say, Photoshop. Now there are a few things, like there's the boundary box. It still sees the boundary box as part of the tracing. And you can see there was a little bit of shadowing in the scan, so it saw those as an object as well. So we're going to clean those up. Now if I erase those right now, I erase the bounding box is no longer there. I'm going to delete these guys, and now all I have is this cool little guy. I cut him, I'm going to bring him into bot fans, I'm going to paste him. I'll make him a little bigger. And there we go. There's Laptop Repair Melbourne. Say hello to Laptop. Let's get rid of him. Okay, and let's get rid of him. Now what I just did is it saw the blank objects, because these are filled spaces. It saw those filled spaces as objects themselves. So I just got rid of those. So there you go. That's how you do it. That's super simple. That's more simple than the refining stuff you have to do in Photoshop. Super. I'll do it again, and we can time it. But it took less than 5 minutes to do that. To take a scan. Now you probably want ink, although it'll work fine with pencil as well. It'll just be slightly jaggier. But even then, if you really want to, you can play around with smoothing. There are ways to reduce or add points to make things smoother, but that's very inexact. I kind of like this little guy. He looks kind of cool. Not bad. It's pretty much my drawing. And like I said, it took me 5 minutes to import him in. Now, I can. Right now, he's a group. He's a group of like objects. Illustrator can allow you to group things together. See, it even calls it a group right here. If you can read that, it's very, very tiny, but trust me, it says group. And in the group, it has a lot of paths. So, let's ungroup him. And the hotkey for ungrouping is Open Apple Shift G. And if you want to group him again, it's Open Apple G. So we're going to ungroup him. And now I can just select bits of him. Now, since he's a tracing, something I brought in, all the white space in between all the black spaces are also objects. So I can change their color very easily if I'm on the fill color and not the stroke color. There. Boom.
That blue doesn't show very well.
That doesn't show up at all.
Let's do
You like red.
red in fill, not stroke. Let me get off stroke. There, red. See? Red. There's red. Okay. You know what? Let's color him like I would actually want to color him, because I'm going to publish this out as an actual comic. Let's make him gray. Does gray show up? Everybody can see gray. Your laptop gray. You can see that. Don't fall asleep on me. Gray, yes. Everybody can see the gray.
Yes.
Dog, thank you.
I did have another question, so about the blob brush.
Go ahead.
Is there a erase blob? So
Yeah,
if you want to
there's an
subtract
eraser.
from-
Heck yeah, there is.
Okay, and then it works with the blob in that case.
It does.
Cool.
It most certainly does.
Yeah.
Whoop.
So you really can get down and just refine, anything that you got, even if it's an object or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can do anything you want with it.
Just whittle away at it.
Yeah. And when I actually draw one of these bot fans, instead of porting one of these guys in, which I will do next, because they're super easy to draw. Why can't I select you? There we go. Then I will show you that what is going on. It doesn't like that for some reason. It must not like you. It doesn't like you. Okay, there is no information right. No, there it is. I just didn't select it right.
Can you turn group stuff into a blob?
Can you do what?
Well, can you turn group stuff into a blob, or is it just merging at that point?
Grouped stuff. Oh yeah, you can merge. There is a window called the Pathfinder, and a Pathfinder can let you, for example, if I selected this black, and then I select every black object. Boom, that's every black object, and then I say every black object is the same group, same object, and then I go blink, and it'll do that. Now it sees every black thing as the exact same black thing, whether they touch or don't touch. So then I can universally change him to white or pink. now he's pink. Okay. Now while I'm coloring this guy, because it might take a few minutes, I'm willing to field some questions if anybody has them. Or I can make this really fast, jump right into lesson 3 and start teaching you how to color for real.
I have a question.
Huh?
I have a question.
Hot dog.
I missed it in the first part. You talked about drawing for the first,
I did. I talked about, there are a few drawing tools,
the blob brush.
the blob brush, the paintbrush, the pencil, and the pen tool.
Okay. So my question is this. With Illustrator, I see that it's maybe it's because your artwork has a little bit more of a cartoony feel, but I haven't seen any comic type artists use Illustrator.
I can't imagine they would. I mean, most places that I went to school for comics, like to college,
Yeah.
and the Illustrator isn't even on the table as a tool that anybody would use for comics.
Okay, so that's my question.
Yeah. I don't think anyone knows to use it. Everyone has been since computer coloring in comics started back in the 90s or whenever it was. People have been using Photoshop, and they know Photoshop works. I'm sure there might be some people out there that use
I know
Illustrator.
there's a couple, but
Right, but I'm sure they're in the minority because no one wants to learn the new thing. And when they do start Illustrator, it's hard because they don't know what to do.
do you feel that Illustrator is a viable?
Yeah, oh yeah,
tool to
certainly.
do actual
Absolutely.
matching and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing that you could do in, not you specifically, because I would not want that challenge, but there's nothing that somebody could do in Photoshop that I couldn't reproduce in Illustrator. And I will show you some more advanced techniques for coloring too, like to get texture and stuff, like that kind of stuff into Illustrator. But personally, I used to be a diehard Photoshopper. I did nothing but Photoshop. I worked in Photoshop. I did all my illustration work in Photoshop professionally and personally. And then at work, at my full-time job, it got to the point where it was better for color separation to work in quantifiable vector PMS, where you knew the color that was there. So I needed to teach myself Illustrator. And I needed to be able to do everything I could do in Photoshop in Illustrator. So I've spent the last 3 or 4 years just doing that. And I'll tell you, in the last year and a half, I haven't opened up Photoshop, not one time. I might use it for animated GIFs, but that was the only thing I would probably use it for, because there's no animation tool in Illustrator. And then I would draw it in Illustrator and then port it over as a smart object to Photoshop and then just animate it there. But I like, there are a lot of bonuses to, you know what, I should be drawing and talking instead of just talking. There are a lot of bonuses to working in Illustrator that you just don't get in Photoshop. And one of the biggest one is scalability. Anything that I make in Illustrator, I can make business cards with. I can make 24-inch posters with. I can make banners that stretch 3 or 4 feet, and I lose no image quality at all, ever. Vector is amazing in that respect. Also, the files tend to be a lot smaller, depending on what you do. I mean, if you start fiddling around with some watercolor, like effects, then you're going to be running into some bigger file stuff. But I can show you gradient meshes where you can get that kind of variation in color tone that Photoshop is great for. And I'm not saying the Illustrator is great for it, but it can do it. So you know what? This is I'm going to jump in and show you how to color because I am getting annoyed with how slow the hunt and peck of what I'm doing is. So, oh, hey, this is. I don't normally port stuff over, so I'm going to be running into some issues I think with. Now, what the tool I am using right now is the live paint can. And the live paint can is going to be your best friend if you decide to draw in Illustrator. And again, live painting is one of those things that if you don't know how to use it, you're going to get incredibly frustrated with it to the point where you'll never use it again. Because you'll want to do things with it that if you don't know the right tricks, you won't know how to do it, and there's no one to teach you out there because like I just said, no one uses this program for what it's designed to be used for. Because Illustrator is the illustration program designed to be used for illustration. The Photoshop program was designed to retouch photographs. Now try to tell that to anybody and they'll just look at you funny. I mean, I'm sure there are people who retouch photographs with Photoshop. I've never met one. The person, don't even raise your hand. The person who, the person who is currently babysitting my kids also says that she uses it for that purpose. But until I actually see that in action, I don't believe it. I don't believe anybody actually uses Photoshop for photo manipulation.
There are people, but they use it for so many other things too. It's kind of minor.
It's a very versatile program. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash Photoshop. Well,
This is an anti-
just a little bit.
Pretty sure I use it.
Are you
But-
using key combinations to switch back and forth between colors?
I am.
or-
No, not between colors, but I am in order to get the selection tool. If you hold down with any tool, if you hold down Open Apple and nothing else, you will get a selection area. You'll either get the selection tool or the direct selection tool, depending on the last one that you selected before you pick your tool. So in this case, I want the direct selection tool because it'll give me access to all these little guys in here. So I hold down the apple, and then I go ahead and I see what you're saying. Yes, I did actually do that. This is so rote for me now that I didn't even realize I was doing it. I can also access the pen dropper by holding down Option. It changes my paint can to the eyedropper so I can pick a color and then doop, 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 doop. Now, the reason why I don't need to select these anymore is because once I've colored with them, they are considered live paint objects, and it won't ask me if I want to treat them as a live paint object anymore because it already is one, so there's no reason for me to reselect it. What color? Let's go with gold. He's got gold keys. Because he's from Melbourne. I don't know what that means.
I noticed that you use a lot of swatches. Is that a personal preference or?
Well, one of the benefits of Illustrator is being able to have exact and direct control over your PMS. Something Photoshop does but doesn't do very well because it's pixel based. I like to have if I'm not working in PMS, I have my CMYK slider open so I can change that. And then if I make a change, like if I want a really dark black, then I just move that black up to my swatch and then I can go back to it over and over again. However, if I actually want to work in PMS, and that's the actual term.
Pantone matching system.
Yep, they're called PMSs. If I want a specific PMS, then I'll go. That was bad. All my windows went away. Okay. So, wow, that rearranged things a little bit. I don't know why all my windows went away when I did that. So, it's always when a few people are looking at your work. So I generally use solid coded because solid coded is a printer standard, not the printer standard, but it is a printer standard. So when I want these things to be printed professionally, I like to have my Pantones, so I know exactly what I'm going to get. It's always good to have a Pantone book too on hand, because sometimes what shows up on the screen, if you don't have a true color safe monitor, and what's actually in the book is going to be different. But most people don't really care. I tend to get slightly anal about it. But so what color eyes should this guy have? Laptop repair Melbourne. Anybody?
Red.
The only real color I put in bot fans tends to be the eye color.
Lavender.
Huh?
Green.
Lavender and green. Okay, deal. So let's pick a green. Let's just pick this green. Now we'll go this green and lavender. Wow. Lavender. Okay. So now he's got. Let's make that radio. Nope, not there. You can also drag swatches directly. If you have something selected, you can drag the swatch directly over the object and it'll change that object's color. It's not something that I do very often, but you know. The things that aren't in the manual for these programs that you can do is pretty outstanding. I want to color you. I want you to let me color you.
Let's say that you have a client who is revision king and he's always saying, oh, I want you to change all the greens in your document to reds. Is there a way of having all the reds tagged so that you can just...
There is. There's a fancy way and a really low rent way. I don't like the fancy way, so I'm not going to teach it. Let's go with the low rent way. Let's say I don't like this gray and I need to globally change it throughout the entire thing. You go to select, same, fill color, boom, that's all the gray. Done. There is the really advanced, I say in air quotes, color management system in the latest version of Adobe Illustrator, but like most things that are the first edition of a tool, it sucks. It's not good. Don't use it. Wait for 6 and hopefully they'll improve it. But there is ways that you can go, oh, I want this to shift over here. Look, it gives me all these other color options, and I've never used it. It sucks. Not good. It's much easier just to select the color, select all, boom, then you can make the change. Let's say we all want that pink. So it should be, oh, it's because it's a light paint object. Yeah, this is the problem, see? Why the hell? It wouldn't change because it's a live paint object. Which means it sees it as a live paint object. It doesn't see it as an active object. It sees it as a specific object. Just like when you scanned in your pencils or your pen, your pen drawing, it saw it as a live trace object. That means it doesn't see it as a vector. It sees it as something in between what you wanted it to be and the vector that it should be. And when you draw, and when you color, like I color in Illustrator, it does the exact same thing. But there's an easy way to fix that. Select it, go to Object, go to Live Paint Object, and do we release it? Or do we expand it? We do not release it. We expand things in Illustrator. We never release them, so we released it. Boom! It's released. Nothing has changed. But now I can select this color, select all, and oh, I selected the black. That would not be good. I mean, I guess I could do that. But select same fill color, make it pink, pink, because now all of these things are vector objects. They're not any fancy thing. They're a vector object. So done and done. We have got a bot fans in the can. One done.
It's gonna go on the screen.
Ooh, I have a good transition question for the screen.
Okay.
Dealing with transparency transitions. Is it possible, I know that you can do one transition to another color,
Sure. A gradient.
a gradient. Can you make those gradients transparent?
Yep. Short answer. Long answer, let's see that in action. So, if you go to your gradient slider in your window, let's bring it up here so everyone can see it. There's lavender and green. There's also, right underneath that slider, the opacity feature. So we want our green to be 25% opaque, but the lavender is still 100%. So technically then, if we put an object behind it, you could see that object behind it for the green,
Good question, Mark. I didn't know that either.
but not the blue, or the lavender. So there we go, one in the can. Let me save this guy, and we'll move on. I want that to be white. No, it looks white right now, but it's actually, let's make it green, but I don't want it to be that green.
Should give his screen a color.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do with this guy. Thank you. Reason why I left the screen blank. And I wanted to do this. Now it's a group. Ouch.
Gonna do a couple more in there.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do a couple more in there. Why? Because it's vector and scalable. And it doesn't lose degradation. I did this specifically so I could do this. Copy. Wait, you are on a separate layer. We're on frame layer. Let's bring you back down here. Let's
So
take you.
you know that format, the SVG format I told you about today?
Mm-hmm.
You could actually post this as an SVG graphic, and people could actually like zoom in as a vector graphic in the web browser. They'd be able to see everything that you put in there.
Now, what I'm doing right now is I just nested this object in another object because I wanted the thing to look a little better than having the edges all messed up. Now, what that means, yeah, the edges are still.
Did you use the masking tool or did you use
I did.
something
I
else?
used the mask,
Okay.
which if everybody knows what that is, I won't talk about it.
You should probably talk about it.
All right, I'm also
I
going to
know.
stroke. I'm also going to stroke this type because currently it's active type. But if I stroke it, then it will scale better because now it's a vector object. But what I did basically is, and I'll do it again so everyone can see it. Now we're going to take this guy. We're going to clone him again. Bring him down here. Now we're going to put him in there. So we're going to make a really, because I don't want to trace it. We're just going to make a tiny little box. Fits in that hole. There we go. Now we're going to take him. We're going to group him. Make him really small. And then we're going to zoom in. so we can see what the hell we're doing. Okay, we're gonna make him even smaller. And when you have an object on top of another object, you know what? Let's even warp him out a little bit. Wow. You have no idea what I just did because it's hidden behind that thing, but dude, see, there he is. So, when you have an object on top of another object, you can hotkey Apple 7 and it masks the object. Done and done.
At least you can do that if you're working on an Apple.
Yeah, I was about to
I
say.
don't know what the PC key did. Join the revolution. Get an Apple.
It'll be like
It's an old ad. You should have owned an Apple by now.
When you do a mask, you have to have both objects selected?
You do. Or as many objects as you are masking. That's not as...
Presumably the hotkeys would be the same, just with Control instead of Open Apple, though.
It's slightly different, I think. But yeah, the premise is the same. Whatever the Apple key is for PCs.
It varies between Control and Alt.
Okay, I don't really want to do that again. That's enough depth for me. So we'll go with that. There you go. We got him up, fans. Let's save that guy.
I have a question regarding transitions and blends.
Okay, go ahead. Can
How
I
do you,
save while you're doing that?
absolutely. How do you change the direction of that? I know how to do it inside Photoshop,
Change the direction of the gradient?
but of the gradient.
Oh, that's super simple. As soon as I'm done saving, I'll let you know. But basically, if you go to the gradient window, see here, see that little preview of your gradient? The little swatch of your gradient? Right below that is a box that has arrows. That's your direction box. You click on it, it'll switch direction. And to show you how to do that specifically, let's select his eyeball again. Eyeball. Boop. Now it's switched. And let's switch back. Or you can do it manually by just moving the sliders. Okay?
What if you want
I'm
something
gonna
other than a
save this
straight
thing as a lab.
45? Let's say you want to have it at a 10-degree angle or something.
Oh, well then you actually use the gradient tool and not the gradient window. And as soon as I'm done saving this guy out, we'll do that. Do I even have a bot fans thing anymore? I don't. That's how long it's been since I've made bot fans on a regular basis. I don't even have a bot fans folder anymore. It is 4,
Should put it in your horse folder.
25, 12A.
Horse folder?
Because I'm planning on making more of these.
You
So-
have to look at his desk.
So here in your toolbar, you also have the gradient tool. So let's select that eyeball again, and then it gives you the gradient tool choices. It'll give you your slider, actually in the thing as it exists. You will have your positioner and your rotator. This is your rotator. Oh, look, you can make it go big and small. And then there's this guy, which lets you change the direction of the slider. And then this guy makes it bigger or smaller. Okay? Now you can also just do this. Make a new one. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Okay. So, that was one I did not hand draw. The first bot fans I didn't hand draw. So now I'm going to, let's see, did I do everything right? I haven't done any of the advanced coloring techniques. So I'm going to start a new bot fans, and we're gonna draw it live. We're gonna color it, and I'm gonna show you some advanced techniques for coloring. We're gonna put it all together. And let's see, it's like 8:30. Probably by the end of that we'll be done and I'll ask some questions and we can get out of here. So I've got 3 that I chose specifically for tonight because I thought they were funny, and we'll get to pick which one you guys want to work with. There is cheap sunglasses that says, "Thanks, this post really opened my eyes." Get it? Because he's funny. He's cheap sunglasses. It, not capitalized, is not only eye-opening. This guy's terrible. Rather very beneficial for the people who want to do something good in his life. Cheap sunglasses. This is actual spam that I get on my blog. Next one is gas stoves. I was really hoping Ryan would be here for gas stoves, but he isn't. There is obviously far more to know about it than I expected. I like to stress that you have made some good points in your posting. Kind of generic, but it was called gas stoves. How could I not pick that? And then there is ladies' handbags. It's nice to got the info about preferred and dispreferred, and especially the characteristics of both. It's a good addition in my knowledge, of which I am glad. And then he waited a little bit. He shift returned and said, "Thanks." Thanks is down here. So this bot clearly has at least 2 mouths. Anytime they take the time to shift return, I always give them at least 2 mouths or 2 heads, because there's clearly 2 people talking there. So ladies' handbags, that's your choice. Ladies' handbags, gas stove, or cheap sunglasses. Where do you guys want to go?
Ladies' handbags.
Ladies' handbags.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would pick ladies' handbags.
Hey, Stowe,
Yes.
does anybody want to move forward? Because we could probably push your guys' table.
Sure. If you guys want to get closer to better see what's going on, that'd be great.
You guys want to move forward?
Now, I thought it would be fun, and I'm totally going to rip off a little bit since I'm drawing here live. I'm happy to take requests for what is actually going to go on to the robot lady handbag. Or in the lady's handbag. So, since it's a bot fan, it means it is a robot of some sort. In this case, it is a robot lady's handbag. This is not a very smart strip. It's what I got. Prior examples are, let's see, here's some ones that have already been made. There is, Tablet PC Union. This is a tablet PC that's really pissed. Every time I capitalize things, I'm just assuming that they're talking to me as if they're very sarcastic. So he's like, "Thanks for sharing, nice work." Clearly, he's kind of an ass. Let's see, this one, I don't even know what this one is. Oh yeah, penis enlargement supplements. I love this guy, he's so happy to be alive. Enjoy your boner. And then there's, oh yeah, this is Netdeed. And he just spoke to me in Japanese. I don't know why he's holding a toilet plunger, or a toilet brush. I don't know why that is happening. Then there's, oh yeah, Title Carlos, Georgia. I love him because he's got a gun rack. Let's see. This is Dog Life Jackets. This is actually my mother-in-law's dog, too. I was on vacation with my in-laws, and they had their dog with them, so I'm like, I'm drawing their dog. I don't think they ever saw this comic, but it made me laugh. Let's see, who's this? Oh, this is Kim Nellen. Kim Nellen used to write me all the time.
She's a current character.
All the time. So she had quite a bit of adventure. She hasn't written me in so long, but I even made a poster of Kim Nellen. Let's see if it's it. Yep, there she is. Mangoes! Because that's what she used to write all the time. I don't know why Kim Nellen loved mangoes so much, but she did. I don't know what the other posters are. Oh, the first 35 in. Oh yeah, the Nelson Mandela guy. There was a guy who called himself Nelson Mandela. It was very strange. So, okay, where are we? So, ladies' handbags. Let's draw some ladies' handbags. Nope, that's the type of
I feel like it should be a robotic bag that has hands in it.
Oh, that's terrible. All right, so handbag. Now, a handbag's a purse, right? I'm getting that part right.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a purse. Not the
I think it
best.
should have legs that are like hands, sort of like the characters from Silent Running.
You and your obscure movie references.
Maybe they got
hey,
babies trapped in
that
a bag
obscure.
of
Kind of other, like, other pockets,
Those
like
older
what
fellows.
handbags do. What's the second mouth?
Oh.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I really need to draw a second mouth. I
Pocket
totally
on the
forgot
front.
about that. So what I'm drawing right now with the blob brush. Blob brush. Dee. So, let's maneuver this out of the way so I can have more room to draw a handbag. Kind of a dumpy. All right, so. Little thing here. And we want this thing to be open, don't we? All right, now I'm going to erase. Now, with a Wacom pen, it has an eraser nub and a drawing nub. So, on a Wacom, you can just flip it around and actually just erase. So I'm erasing. And erase works just like it does in other editing tools. And it literally live erases the object you have selected. Now, if you don't have an object selected, it will erase everything it sees. But if you select something, it will only erase that thing that you've selected. Because sometimes you will erase like background color and all kinds of stuff if you aren't paying attention right. So we have an open handbag.
It's kind of a grandma handbag, isn't
Hey, it's a cheap handbag.
Yeah, where's our lady?
I'll draw like Gucci stuff on it if it.
You want to really make it fancy, draw a chihuahua sticking out of it.
it? Oh.
The Chihuahua bot.
There's
maybe
the
the
second
Chihuahua
mouth.
could be
Second mouth.
Oh, that's excellent! All right, I'm so glad we
You could
did
just have
lady's
the-
handbag.
You could just have the head sprouting out the side.
Oh wait, I moved that. See, I had my frames layer on, so I moved the frame. All right. So clearly, it's got really short legs or hands, which would be weird. Okay. So all bot fans have the same eyeball. It is the eyeball from Portal, because I rip off the best, and I was really into that game when I came up with this strip. So it's got the Portal eyeball. Let's put that eyeball in there right there.
Now, as far as smoothness of line goes, do you or do other people think it's cheating that it's automatically smoothing out your lines for you?
The blob brush doesn't. The paintbrush does.
Yeah.
It annoyed the heck out of me actually when I started drawing with the paintbrush, because it would auto-correct my line, and I hated it. The blob brush will not do
And if you
that.
painted too close to
Well, not
another
do
line,
that
it would
at all.
absorb it.
It draws what you draw, and that's it. Like, it doesn't auto-correct you, which is good, because I do not like that at all. And it was one of the things that I really had a lot of trouble with when I first started using Illustrator as a drawing tool. I'm like, I can't stand this paintbrush. It keeps doing things that it thinks it's right, but I don't, and I'm the guy drawing it. So we have an eyeball. I don't like that eyeball. I'm going to move him over a little bit. See how much fun drawing digitally is? You can't move that eyeball if you draw it on paper. Okay. I think it should have something like a 5 o'clock shadow too. So this eyeball hasn't this handbag hasn't shaved in a while. So, and then but let's see, it's nice to got the info about preferred and dispreferred. Yeah, that sounds very introspective. So he's introspective and talking, just not excited. Just, not upset either, though. Just talking like, hey, I'm just waiting. Got a dog crapping in my belly.
It's good for a handbag.
All right. So there he's talking. And then you know what? Let's give him a little. He'd get a little bit of a chin. Handbag. So, and we want hands. This guy to have hands for feet.
Handbag.
Yeah.
All right.
Either that or it's full of hands.
Ew.
I said that earlier and he shot it down.
Is it full of hands and a chihuahua? Because that really paints the chihuahua.
Have you ever
in a
looked
negative
inside?
light.
Have you ever looked inside a purse? Full of shit.
But a murderous chihuahua?
He's gnawing on,
All right, that's a good hand. Now look, I'm just gonna clone the crap out of this thing for speed of use. Bing. Can't do that with traditional media. Screw you, traditional media.
Yeah.
I'll do this. So it has some connotation, and they look slightly different from one another. All right, and then you know what? He also has fingernails. Why the hell not? Robot fingernails.
Pink.
Sure, we can do pink.
Very confused.
All right.
After all,
It's
you
ladies'
believe.
hands.
That's right. Okay, so there we go. That's our basic robot handbag. Wait, should it have like a?
It needs a handle.
It does. It needs a handle. Where does the handle go when it's open?
To the side.
Anybody?
Sometimes it's only on like one side, so when you open it, the handle's on one side.
Like
You
this?
could have
Sometimes
it.
you can have two handles, one on each side.
Oh wait, is it a strapped bag or is it like a bag with
Well, if you have a
It's a
handle, you could have it
handbag.
flopping down like an angry eyebrow.
like? Oh, that's not bad. Here, you know what? I'm going to lock
Like here.
this.
Does it have to have a handle?
I don't know. I'm asking you guys. This is a group effort.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a handle, it's a clutch.
All right, thank you.
Okie doke. So.
That's
funny.
Even more knowledge.
No, that needs to be a little longer.
Maybe just looks annoyed that thing's flopping in his face. That's awesome.
No wonder he's kind of perturbed.
Alright. So there you go. Handle. Now specifically because I locked the layer. Oh, I know what's going on. Yes, I merge only with selection because I showed you how to do it!
No.
No. I'm like, why isn't my stuff all merging together in a fun, nice way? Okay, so there we got a handle. And I had locked this group just to make sure. You know what? Do I still want this line? And he's gonna. I don't think I do. So we're gonna erase this. And then we're just gonna give him lock you just to make sure I'm not drawing. What the hell? He's gonna be looking at
That looks angry.
He's gonna be looking at the chihuahua. So, chihuahua. Can I draw a chihuahua?
Robo Chihuahua.
You draw a I think it should be like a cyborg chihuahua. I love drawing cyborgs. Okay.
Can we like
So-
little silent eyes? Or?
Let's go nose.
Is it gonna be Terminator Chihuahua?
Ooh, that would be awesome.
At me if you want to live.
Give me a treat. I'll be back to poop.
That was terrible. So we got a regular eye, and really should have drawn the cyborg eye on the other side. Oh, that's terrible.
You still could draw the cyborg guy on the other side.
Oh, maybe be happier than the bot.
You think he should be happy?
Well, if he's
Chihuahuas are
saying-
always happy.
Well, is he the one saying thanks?
Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Is
Nope,
it 7 of
Illustrates.
K9?
That was
Oh.
not good.
Oh my god.
God damn it, stop.
Don't make me kill you with this pencil.
No, Chihuahuas aren't always happy, but they are always really up on energy.
Alright, so he's gonna be
I'm
happy.
usually just shivering because they're fucking.
Happy, not sad. Let's make him really happy.
Are you sure they're shivering because they're cold and not because they're crazy and about to kill you with a knife?
No, they're just excited.
Now that just.
Oh.
That's a chihuahua.
Kind of like a lunatic chihuahua. Yeah.
You know, I could see that chihuahua with a handful, with a bag full of hands.
That's right. Look at this. You know what? He needs a bigger.
Yo quiero dismembered hands.
He needs a bigger eyeball.
They need a shorter snout. Looks kind of like a weasel.
I like that eye.
Chihuahuas do look like weasels.
Well, they do.
He needs a smaller snout, is what you're telling me?
I think so.
I'm drawing a chihuahua from memory, so.
Think rat more than dog.
Quick,
Yeah,
Google
they-
image
yeah.
search.
Big heads and big
Huge
fucking
ears.
eyeballs.
Huge
Everyone's
ears.
a
Okay, now this is the other good thing about drawing digitally. Shoot. Whoa, fuck.
H-U-A, H-U-A.
H.
He
Thank
can
you,
spell.
H-U.
There you go. Now Google's finished. it for you.
Chihuahua. Just spell it like Les Nesman pronounced it. You'll be fine.
Guest internet. Oh yeah, he's got a tiny little snout. Big ears. Wow, I drew the ears way
Big
too
eyes.
small.
Just shrink the snout and grow the ears, and he's fine.
Yeah, this guy's wrecked. Not a chihuahua. Look at that.
And the difference being.
According to Ren and Stimpy, nothing.
Rats are probably smarter.
Rats don't bark.
They're quieter.
Rats are not as rats are not as vicious. Chihuahuas, you don't want to
Chihuahuas
let.
are vicious.
Chihuahuas are vicious.
What?
They're just
But they're
excited.
excited to be vicious.
They've got
Very nice.
they've got Napoleon complex and like they can't do much damage, but they'll latch on and be like, "No, I will hang on to your ear and dangle like an earring."
How did it get to your ear?
Yeah.
I
You
had
have a lot of very first-hand Chihuahua knowledge.
Chihuahuas.
I had a friend whose grandma had a Chihuahua, and he'd get down and be like, "Oh no, it's just playing." And I'm like, "Dude, your ear is bleeding. That's not just playing."
Sometimes just.
All right, there's our Chihuahua.
But we need to make his real eyeball bigger.
He should have a bigger eyeball.
Make his robot eyeball smaller.
Don't they have black
No.
soulless eyes too?
You're thinking of gingers.
Anik is not a fan of the Chihuahua.
This is
Oh,
why
that's
you-
horrible.
He looks like he's in the middle of Orville in my
All right,
mind.
now
Why you should never draw by committee.
hands. Hands.
That looks like a nice thumbnail there.
Thank you.
So these are actually dismembered hands, not robot hands.
No, they're not robot hands. What would an evil Chihuahua want with robot hands? This is going to
You
be...
probably don't want to know the
I'm
answer
glad
to
that this particular strip of mine makes no sense anyway.
You say that as if some of them do.
Hey, the side
Wah, wah.
quests make sense.
No, I meant the robot or the bot fan.
No, that's what
None
I'm
of them
saying.
make
None
any
of them
sense.
make any sense anyway. And before we leave, I want to show you my favorite bot fans ever. And then we'll have this guy just wanted peace.
And he got pieces.
This guy
Do a
didn't.
middle finger.
Let's make a little
That's nice.
detail there.
I think we were moderately
There should
kid
be
friendly up
Jake
until
doing
this
the
point.
Spock thing.
Bot fans is not my kid friendly strip. I have a kid friendly strip.
Enjoy your toner.
That's right. Wait, I'm taking a break because one of my other reoccurring characters, let's see where he is. Yes, is that guy. Generic Viagra. He has no arms and one lever. Let's see, he shows up. This is penis enlargement pills. He shows up a lot too. I love that little guy. Let's see. No, that's Kim Nellen. No,
Wasn't there a
No.
pizza one?
no.
Wait, what was
No.
that one?
Horrifying.
This is Hoffman or Chiropractor Hoffman Estates. And this was the most ominous bit of spam I've ever gotten. Your sharing has provided us really great information. I'm like, about what? That's R2D2. Oh, I already drew a Chihuahua. It should be the same one. Oh, did I? Ooh,
Deport that
that's-
head.
Oh yeah, there's penis enlargement pills again. He's on a little bit of a bender. Oh yeah, that's the automated baby carriage thing. There's this. If anybody gets this, I will give you a quarter. Anybody know what this is? Anybody? No. Ah. I get to keep my quarter. There he is again. Look, it's talking. Lance!
Oh. Now we see what you meant by two heads.
By the way, the robot is the hat on this one. No one ever got that. They're like, that's a big fat robot. I'm like, no, that robot is the hat who's feeding him Oreos and milk. But no one got it. Kim Nellen. That's IG88 who works at Best Buy.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, I'm closing down the register now, so any last purchases?
Oh yeah, if you want to do something, you should do it. This is medical assisting. Oh wait a minute, this is one of my favorites too. I love Star Wars, but not Valentine's Day college scholarships for women. What? Kim Nellen again. Oh yeah, pizza coupons. He's a dick. This is my favorite one I've ever drawn of all times. I love Stromecall.
You raise a lot of questions in my head. You wrote an excellent post, but this post is also mind-provoking, and I will have to think about it a bit more. I will return soon.
Now see, I like how he read it, but in my head it's, you raise a lot of questions in my head.
All caps.
Did he ever return
getting,
soon?
I'm sorry, I'll get back to the drawing.
You have to get the color. People want to see you color.
Oh yeah, we'll do the color.
Guess what type of robot pirate's like?
This is not going to be a good job.
This is going to be terrible, isn't it?
D2.
You got it.
R2D2. That's
I've heard it
awful.
before, but I guessed it.
We'll do
What
it.
does that
Come
tell you?
Okay. So there we go. We got the basic drawing done.
Is that blood?
Yes.
Nice.
So that's the basic drawing. Let's unlock. I think there's something locked here. There is. The handle's locked. So we'll move the handle off to the side for right now. We are going to make sure this is all one object. When we do that, we can either do that by grouping, or we can do that by the pathfinder in the shape. And either way works. I just did both. Let's see. Do I have room for thanks?
The hell out of it.
I do. Thanks. So now that it is a grouped object, we take our live paint bucket. And what color should the... Ooh, wait.
We should do blue for the.
What color should the
Like shadow.
handbag be? Anybody?
It should be a light color so
Yeah,
the blue
some
5 o'clock
color.
shadow will stand out.
A red or violet.
Something that contrasts with the red of the blood.
First thing, let's start coloring the
Ah.
hands.
Violet.
So, I'll start coloring the hands while you guys talk amongst yourselves
What
as
would-
to what color.
What would be a good color for a lady's
I
handbag?
think a light blue.
Light blue,
Maybe
yeah.
gray blue kind of.
Light blue would contrast well with the
Now
blood.
here I'm just changing sliders to give myself a little bit of flesh color variation. And like it's literally this easy, super fast to color. And this is a bit more of a precise tool than the paint can in Photoshop. Because for one thing, the vector is a more precise medium than pixel. So there we go. We've already drawn all of our hands. So let's do some blood. Blood. Do some blood in there too. Actually, let's make that blood darker. It's in shadow. Okay. So there we go. Chihuahuas are what? Like this color?
Speaking of chihuahuas, can you minimize that Google window? I'm getting sick of looking at it.
Oh, sorry. Let's close that up.
The chihuahuas are going to eat my soul.
It's got some pink ears because he's a fun chihuahua. A fun, murderous chihuahua. Let's make that. Okay. Now all I did there was the yellow that I had picked was a PMS color, which means a PMS slider is just 100% of it to 0% of it. There's no way to get away from that color because that's the color that you chose. So if you say you only want 50%, it doesn't mean that it's going to opacity 50% on your thing. It means it's only putting down 50% of the color. It's still a solid color, just the tone is different. Okay? To actually change the opacity, you have to go into the transparency window, or you can do it, I think for solid color, that's pretty much the best way to do it, is the transparency window. But you can easily, if you select a Pantone, you can, see this CMYK box. If you select the CMYK box, right here, select that, it will give you your CMYK sliders. It is no longer considered PMS, and then you can manipulate it how you like it. So we're going to make that. And we said we wanted him to have a bright red eye, right? Bright red dead eye.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, that's good. You know what? I think he should have a reflection on this side too. So we're gonna do that.
I'll never look at chihuahuas the same again.
Usually black makes them nice.
That should be brown.
The eye should be brown. Oh, because it's a dog eye.
Yeah.
All right.
You got the highlight.
The pink nose. He's Rudolph the pink-nosed chihuahua.
Okay, we'll do.
Woo!
Why did you do that?
Just pink eye.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
crazy looking.
I know why I did it. Because I didn't do it this way. There we go.
Oh, that's good.
Wow, that's very this color.
Make it brown.
If you guys can. How's that? You know, he needs a
Be a lighter brown.
secondary.
I think he needs a lighter brown too.
Oop. No, I don't want you selling this. Lighter brown? How about like this color?
There you go.
Yeah?
You changed your other reflection
Yeah.
too.
Alright. Not sure what was, huh? So, handbag. Have we decided what color the handbag is yet? Pink.
I thought it was light blue.
Yeah, so many contrasts that work.
We're hearing two colors. I mean, I can do it two colors.
Do blue. There's already too much tan and yellow and red.
Yeah.
Blue.
Don't forget to add a few sparkles.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the advanced techniques.
It's
And then
a
the
sequin
butterfly
lady's handbag.
shadow.
Purplish.
Rhinestones.
And then we do the robot gray colors.
It's like a robotic tongue.
I know
get a robotic tongue. He's a robot.
And as you can see, like, this is, oh, it's not full. Why is that not connected?
I think we had agreed on like pink
That's
fingernails.
too bad. Well, I didn't get one piece, so that one fingernail didn't get turned into a live paint object. Pink. Pink. That is disturbing. Okay, but I didn't get it here, and I really want it here. So, now that everything's colored, except for this, nope. Now see, what just happened was, I tried to make this a live paint object while I was working on top of a live paint object. And when you do that, it won't convert a new live paint object. It will just assume you're working on the live paint object that's below it. So if you want to turn another live paint object, you actually have to move it off, and then it converts normally. That is something you'll just run into, and it's easy enough to fix. You just got to make sure. And there we go. There he is. He's done. So now we're going to object, live paint, expand. Do you guys want to see what it looks like if I release it instead of expand it? You don't? No one wants. No one's curious as to what.
I'm
release
curious.
will do?
Do it.
Boom! It removed all color completely, even the original color. So, yeah, that sucks. So live paint, expand. Now it's no longer a live paint object. Now it is several grouped solid objects. Now, just because it's grouped doesn't mean this thing isn't locked in here. I can do that. I don't want to, but I could. Now, I wanted this guy to be pink. So, I am going to do the first bit of advanced technique coloring in Illustrator. And that is coloring inside an object. So, down here where my thing is, you will see 3 circles. One circle with a square next to it, one circle with a square behind it, and one circle with a square inside it. The normal default for Illustrator is draw normal, which is what we've been doing all night. There is also draw behind and draw inside. What we're going to do is draw inside. So you click that, and immediately, I don't know if you can see it, there are little marching ant dots around the object I had selected. Okay? I'm going to unselect that object. The marching dots do not change. It's because at any point, Illustrator now knows that at any time after this object, this little toenail color, I am always going to want to paint inside that. I'm not going to want to paint inside anything else. I just want to paint inside that. So I go back to my blob brush, I choose the pink, and I paint. And I have just painted inside that object and no place else. Now, if you go into your layer, you will see that this is now a compound object with a masking. And that's all it did. And if I want to stop doing that, I'd simply say, let's draw normal again. And now it's there. So this is a good way to, let's say we want this handbag. This is a fancy handbag. It has stripes. So let's do that same technique. I'll make slightly, now see what I did is I didn't let go of it. So because I didn't let go of it, I still had it selected, but I changed the color. still change the color of the object because I have it selected. What you have to do is deselect, change your color. Now you can go, hey. So there you go. And you can keep going. See, it's a little different. The stripes are a little different on the side. But it's only coloring inside the object I had originally selected. We go back to normal. Let's do it. Whoop. Let's do it over here. Do the same thing. Inside. Deselect. Color. Whoop. Now see, it went back to the original color because I had selected something. So we are going to select this color. Go back to blob brush. And we are making stripes again. Fancy stripes. I don't like that stripe, so we're going to erase it. And it erased only that stripe because I selected that stripe, nothing else. If I had not selected that stripe, it would have erased the blue and the stripe. Because it is assuming I want to erase everything. So we keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, let's say we want some texture instead. Now texture is a bit of a different animal in Illustrator than it is in Photoshop because this is a vector program and not a pixel program. So it can fake texture and it can do it in several ways. One of the easiest ways to do it is you go to brushes, select, let's select, I want to open artistic paintbrushes. Okay, those are not the ones. I mean, it could work, but that's not exactly what I want. Show artistic calligraphy brushes. No, that's not going to work either. I will find it, I swear. There's a specific type of brush that's actually pretty interesting. Bristle brush, there we go. So, here's the bristle brush libraries. Now this is where I'm going to paint with the paintbrush and not the blob brush. I still am on the inside. Let's make it a little darker. I'm going to select the paintbrush, and now I'm going to, if you can see, and you might not be able to, but there is some texture here now. But this texture is still vector. And I can make it go in front of the lines or whatever. So if you want to create washes, and Illustrator has preloaded a large amount of different brushes. Let's say we wanted this kind of look. So we'll do this. So now you get, oh yeah, that's right, I'm not on. Over here. Now you have that. I find that the bristle brush works better because it's meant to mimic several thin brush pieces. So it gives you that nice burnish texture. Something that you wouldn't normally assume would come out of Illustrator. Okay. I'm wrapping up right now anyway. This is just gravy at this point. So let's go back to the bristle brush. What I really want to do is bristle brush this, because this is meant to be a fine black shadow. So I painted inside it, I deselected it, I'm going to pick the biggest bristle brush they got, I'm going to go with dark, let's go with really dark, but not the fill color, because I'm using the paintbrush, I'm actually painting in line and not in fill. So if I didn't change the stroke color, it wouldn't actually change the color of the bristles I'm putting down. So we're just gonna So there you go. I don't like that one. No, wait, not that one. This one. Can I get that guy? There we go. Oh, I almost had him. The problem with lines is that it's hard to see them when they're all colored. Everybody know what I just did? I just selected outline instead of select preview, so all I saw was what the computer sees. What the computer sees is those dots and those lines. And that's all Illustrator sees. So there you go, bot fans. Oh wait, and we never colored the guy's eye. What color should this guy's eye be?
Pink.
He should be red?
Green.
Pink, hot pink.
Pink and green?
They go good. They go well together.
All right. Oop, yeah. Selected. Can I be able to? Oh, it's because I was doing the fancy drawing. Okay, well we'll do it this way instead then. What is going on with you? On the right layer. Oh, you know what I did wrong? I'm still painting inside. So it still it thought I wanted to put that inside, and I didn't. Okay. This one, we're stuck there for now because I don't know. So there we go. I'm not going to save it out or do anything like that because we're running out of time, and I want to take at least a question or two if anybody has one. So I'll just save out. Hopefully you guys learned something tonight. It was kind of an info dump, but hopefully it was one that you guys were able to follow, and hopefully I've converted at least one person to use Illustrator instead of Photoshop, because that was my intent. See, Jesse has already left. Is he still here? Not here. He left. Damn it! I wanted to convert him more than anybody else. So if he watches this, you should use Illustrator. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody?
What's like the cheapest way to acquire these programs?
Yeah, that's the
Are you a student?
I'm not a student. I know a lot of teachers though.
You know any BitTorrenters? I never said that. Ever said that. You know what? Photoshop or Adobe products are pretty hard to pirate because the security, the DRM, and the suite is very, very harsh. It pings back to Adobe regularly. And by regularly, I mean pretty much every moment it is open, it makes sure that you are registered correctly. So Photoshop and Illustrator and any suite program is really hard to obtain in an illegal fashion. That being said, the suite itself, I think the new suite is going to go for $6.99, which is not terrible, but the important thing is, and this is where this thing that I hate that they just came out with might actually be useful. The Suite Cloud, which is about to come out, is a subscription service. You pay $50 a month, and you get every program that Adobe makes, the most recent version of it, and it's a yearly subscription, which means you have to buy at least a year, but it means, and at this point, Adobe is rolling out a new version of this software about every 18 months. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get more aggressive with it now that they have a subscription-based model. So that means with the subscription-based model, if they update their software every year, and every year you're going to plunk down $700, a subscription is slightly less than that if you look at it in a year, and you will always get the newest software. I don't want to do that. I hate the idea of spending $50 a month just to use
That's
Illustrator.
$600 a year.
Yeah,
Whereas you could
slightly
buy it
less.
once, buy
Right.
it once and use it for a few years.
Right, but you with the subscription base, you will get the newest version of whatever they make all the time. And there's a file sharing aspect to it as well, where you can take your work anywhere because it's a cloud server.
Do you have to like pay a base price to begin with, or do you just start off with $50?
No, you have to. It's subscription, and you need a year's subscription.
I see.
Yes, that is the problem.
That's stupid. Why not just buy the program then? You're spending the same amount of money at the same time.
There's two options. I'm not a Adobe employee. I'm just telling you what options they have for 6. I would say.
I'm just stating this for the camera.
I would
That's
take one
stupid.
class or know somebody who is a student or a professor and get them to buy it because the student discount for Adobe products is extreme. It's about $300 to $400 less
And I see these
for the
people
exact same program.
selling this stuff on Craigslist, and it's always been
I would not
weird
do that.
and shady.
I would not buy any Adobe products on Craigslist.
Don't buy it off
There's no guarantee that you will get the serial numbers that you can use. Yeah.
If I may, actually, I have a suggestion on this. If you don't care about having the most recent version, I tend to buy the version that just got outdated. And then it's super cheap.
All right, I've got to wrap it up. We've got to get out of here. So thank you all very much for listening to me talk. And thank you very much for helping me create this cool bot fans, which will be up probably today or tomorrow sometime. So thank you all very much, and thank you, Adam, for supporting me this whole time.
We will be ordering regular sizes.
I love this thing. What are robots?
Robots are cool!
Zombies must die!
Shoot them in the head! Beware the flying monkeys!
Come on, Mark.